Right, I would like to proceed from where we left yesterday. We are now moving on to question number 9. Right, so the angle of depression of a boy B from a point C on a cliff is 15 degrees. The distance BC is 250 meters, right? A seagull S hovers so that it is vertically above B, and SB is close to 300 meters. Right, we move on to the first question. Find SBC. Right, so where is SBC? Right, they want you to calculate this angle. This is SBC. Right, so for you to calculate this angle, you can proceed the dotted lines here. You can proceed them to touch the line SB in such a way that you create a 90-degree angle here. Right, so you can notice that you have created a triangle which is C B up to this 90-degree angle, and you know that sum of angles in a triangle add up to 180. Right, so to find B, I'm going to add 90 plus 15, then I less from 180. So 90 degrees plus 15, it gives you 105. So 180 less 105, you get 75. I hope you are listening. So I'm going to write 75 degrees as my solution, or the answer, the angle representing B. Right, then we move on to part A2. Find SC. Right, SC is the distance, right, from this point S up to this point C. Right, so you can notice that the triangle SCB, right, has two sides given, or two sides known, which are SB 250, right, CB 250, and SB 300 meters, right, and the angle that we have found is 75 degrees in between them. Right, so a situation whereby you are given two sides with angles, with an angle in between, you make use of cosine rule of square root. Right, so I'm going to write SC, then you put square root like this, then you write 250 squared plus 300 squared minus 2, open bracket, 250, close bracket, open bracket, 300, then cos 75, where 75 is the angle between 250 and 300. Right, so I'm going to punch this in my calculator. Right, make sure your calculator is in degrees. Right, 250 squared plus 300 squared minus 2, 250, close bracket, 300, close bracket, cos 75, you get 11, 36, let me write down, 11, 36, 77, comma 1432. Right, so whilst the answer, or whilst the answer inside the square root is appearing on your calculator, right, you have to press this root sign, then you press the equal sign. So your answer is 337,16. So I'm going to write 337,16. Right, so to three significant figures, since 1 is smaller than 5, your final answer becomes 337 meters. So this is how you calculate SC. Right, so I have written 337 SC that we have calculated in part 2, So I have written 337 on the diagram. So since these questions are fictitious, it means 337 will help you to find the next answer. Right, so I'm now moving on to part 3. Find the angle of elevation of S from C. Right, angle of elevation is very simple. Take for instance, we've got point B, and this is point A. Then there is a flagpole which is vertical above B. Let me denote the top of the flagpole with the F. Right. So if you are asked to highlight the angle of elevation of F from A, you connect F and A like this. But the angle of elevation is found at the ground level. We denote it by theta. So this is the angle of elevation of F from A. I hope you are following. You connect the two letters, right? But at the ground level, where A lies, you put theta, which denotes the angle of elevation. Right? The difference between the angle of elevation and angle of depression is angle of depression is found at the top, or it is found above. This is the angle of depression. But this theta denotes angle of elevation. So depression is found at the top and elevation is found at the bottom. Right. So let us go back to the diagram. Right. And identify the angle of elevation of S from C. So S and C are connected already. And remember, angle of elevation is found at the ground level. So this is the angle of elevation. Let me denote it by theta. So I'd like to find that angle, right? So it is very simple, right? Remember, in part B, we found that angle B was 75 degrees. In part B, we worked out SBC and we got 75 degrees using the concept of adding 15 and 90 and lessing it from 180. Right, so you can notice that 337 meters and 75 degrees at B, they complete a set. Right, so to find angle theta, you can find first the whole angle at C, which includes theta and 15. This whole angle at C, is opposite to 300 meters. And 337 and 75 complete a set, making sine rule a possibility. Right, so I'm going to write sine C. Then divide sine C with 300, since C is opposite to 300. Then on the right side, you have to put your complete set. Sine 75, then divided by 337. I hope you are listening. Right. So we would like to make C the subject of the formula. So sine C is equals to 300 sine 75 over 337. Then C is equals to arc sine 300 sine 75 over 337. So I'm now punching this in my calculator. Right, so remember, in order for you to punch arc sine, you first of all punch the second function button, right? Make sure your calculator is written DEG, right? So after punching this second function, you then punch the sine button. You will get your arc sine like this. Then you have to put open bracket. Then you write 300, right? Sine 75, sine 75, right? Then divide by 337. You close your bracket. Equals. So your answer is 59,3. So I'm going to write 59,3 degrees as C. Right, but remember 59,3 degrees is covering this whole angle C, right? So to find theta, which is the angle of elevation, you have to deduct 15 degrees from 59,3. So 59,3 minus 15. You get 44,3. It means that 44,3 degrees is your angle of elevation. Then you are home and dry. I hope you are enjoying the lesson class. So I want you to stay tuned as we move on to the next question. Right, we are now moving on to question number 10. We are given the diagram OBC. It's the sector of a circle, center O, right? Then BOC 60 degrees. A and D are the midpoints of OB and OC respectively. Right, so it means that if A is the midpoint of OB, right, and you are given that AB is 6, it means that A up to O, you also get 6. So I'm going to put a 6 there. Then D is also the midpoint, right? Which means that OD is also 6. Since this distance and this distance is equal, and this distance and this distance is equal, right? So I want you to notice something, right? Here we have got 60 degrees, right? Then this is what? 6 centimeters, and this is 6 centimeters, right? So we move on to the next. Show that AC is close to 6 centimeters. Simple and straightforward, right? Isosceles triangle, right? It states that base angles are equal, right? If you have this side and this side equal to each other, it means that base angles are also equal. So we've got 6 here and 6 here. If OA and OD are equal to each other, it means that the angle at A is also equal to the angle at B, at D. I hope you are listening. So you say 180 minus 60 degrees at O, you'll be left with 120. Then you share this 120 by 2, you get 60. So it means that we have got 60 degrees at A and 60 degrees at D. So a triangle with 60 is known as equilateral triangle. It means that all the three sides are equal, meaning to say that the distance from A to D is also 6 centimeters. I hope you are listening, class. Right. So we have showed that AD is 6. You get 1 mark for that. I hope you are listening. And what is the reason for that? It is an equilateral triangle. All three sides are equal. Right. Then we move on to part B. The length of arc BC is n pi centimeters. Find n. Right. The first thing is to write the formula of the length of arc. The length of arc is extracted from the circumference. Remember, circumference is known as pi d. So you say pi d times theta over 360. Circumference is the distance right around the circle, right? So the distance right around the circle is pi d, which what we call circumference. So an arc is an extract of the circumference, right? So pi d is going to be multiplied by theta over 360 to find the length of the arc. I hope you are listening, right? So you have to equate this to n pi. Remember, the length of arc BC is n pi. So you have to equate this formula to n pi, right? So let me then substitute the given dimensions, right? The arc here is BC, right? BC is starting from this point up to this point. This is the arc, right? So BC is opposite to 60 degrees. It means that our theta is 60 degrees. But what is the radius of the sector which contains BC, right? The radius of that sector is starting from O to B. So it's 6 plus 6. It means that the total radius from O to B is 12, right? So I'm now substituting, let pi be pi, right? But distance for diameter, where diameter is close to 2r, since if you add 2 radius, you get your diameter, right? So 12 is representing r, or what you call the radius from O to B. It means that your diameter is 24, which is twice the radius. So I'm going to put 24 on D times 60 over 360, then you equate to n pi. I hope you are listening. Right. So I'm now multiplying 24 pi times 60. 24 times, or you can start by reducing 60 over 360 in its lowest terms. Right. So it's 24 pi times 1 over 6 is equals to n pi. Since 60 into 60 you get 1, into 360 you get 6. Right. So you can also even cancel out 6 is the factor of 24. So 6 into 24 you get 4. It means that 4 pi is equals to n pi. Since 4 pi times 1 you get 4 pi. And 6 into 24 is 4. So 4 times pi you get 4 pi. Times 1 you get 4 pi on the left. And on the right you have got n pi. Right. So this pi, they will then now cancel out each other. It means that 4 is equals to n. So the value of n is 4. Then you get your marks. Right. Then you move on to part C. Find the length of arc AED divided by the length of arc BC. Right. So let us do the workings for the arc AED first. Arc AED. Right. Remember, the length of arc is found by the formula pi d times theta over 360. Right. So arc AED, this is A and this is E, this is D. Right. Arc AED is opposite to this angle, since AD is the diameter of the circle where arc AD contains. So this is more of a semicircle. This is a semicircle. So the angle on a straight line is 180 degrees. So it means that arc AED is opposing this angle, which is 180, since this is the center of the circle which contains AED. Right? I hope you are listening. Then the radius of that circle is half of 6. From A to D is the diameter of that circle. But from A to the center of this circle, you get 3 centimeters. So 3 centimeters is the radius. Right? Then from A to D, you get 6 centimeters, which is the diameter. Right? So I'm going to put pi here. Then on D, I'm going to put 6, which is the diameter of this semicircle. Right? Times 180 over 360. Where 180 over 360 denotes this angle, right, of the straight line AD divided by 360. So 180 over 360 you get half. So this is pi, open bracket, 6 times half. Right, then 2 into 6 you get 3. 3 times pi, you get 3 pi. So 3 pi is the arc AED. Right. So I'm going to put 3 pi on arc AED. I hope you are listening. Right. But we are given that the arc BC is n pi, where n was calculated as 4. So it means that n pi is good as 4 pi. So it means on arc BC, I'm going to put 4 pi. Right. So the pi's would then cancel out each other, leaving you with 3/4. So the ratio of the length of arc AED over the length of arc BC is 3/4. So you are warm and dry. I hope you are following class. Right, we move on to part C of the question. It reads, find the area of sector BOC. Right. What you need to understand is area of sector is extracted from area of a circle. Right. But you then need to share that area of a circle by theta over 360. Right. So the area of a circle is pi r squared. Pi r squared is the area of a circle. Right. But since sector is an extract of the circle, pi r squared is then multiplied by theta over 360. Right. So if you look at the circle BOC, let me open it. Right. This BOC, right? BOC is the sector, right? With the radius from O to B, the radius was 12. I hope you are listening. So we are going to use the 12 on radius, right? But the center is O with an angle 60 degrees. So on theta, we shall put 60. Then on radius, we are going to put 12, which is the distance from O to B. Then I want also to shed more light. Remember, we had 6 here, right? And 60 degrees. So remember, I subtracted 180 from 60, then I got 120. But since OA and OD are equal to each other, it simply means that the base angles are also equal. So I had to divide 120 by 2 to get 60. That's why I got 60 at A and 60 at B, at D. Right? What I want you to understand is for any equilateral triangle with 3 sides which are equal, it means that 180 divided by 3, you get 60, 60, 60. Right? So even if you have 100 here, 100 here, and 100 here, 100 meters, 100 meters, 100 meters, it means that this angle is 60, 60, and 60. Right? So as long as all the 3 sides are equal, even if you have got 7 here, 7 here, and 7 here, it means 60 there, 60 there, and 60 there. So the idea is, for any equilateral triangle, no matter the length of sides of that triangle, it produces 60 degrees, 60 degrees, 60 degrees. Right? So that's why I wrote 6 from A to D. Since that was an equilateral triangle with the 60 degrees each, it means all the 3 sides are also equal. Right? I just wanted to shed more light on that. Right? But theta over 360, we are going to use 60 degrees. Then on radius, we are going to put 12. Right? So let us go there and substitute. So I'm going to write pi, then open bracket. On R, I'm going to put 12, then squared, times theta is 60, which is 60 over 360. I hope you are listening. 12 squared, you get 144. So this is 144 pi times 60 over 360, you get 1 over 6. Right? So 144 divided by 6. 6 into 144, you get 24. Giving you 24 pi. So if the question comes in future asking you to find the area of the sector and it says in terms of pi, if it says in terms of pi, this one will become your final answer. Right? But the question doesn't mention in terms of pi. So we punch pi using our calculator, or substitute pi with the 20 over 7 if you are given 20 over 7 as an instruction. So I'm going to punch 24. Let me put calculator on 24 times. So this is the pi here. This is the pi. Then you press the pi button equals. So 24 times pi, you get 73.39. which is good, 75.39, which is good is 75.4. Right, so 75.4 is your final answer. I hope you are listening. Right, then hence find the area of the shaded region. Right, so as for the shaded region, you have to write sector, first sector B, sector BOC minus semicircle minus triangle. Right. So what I'm trying to say is sector BOC is covering the entire region. BOC is covering the entire region. but we would like to find the shaded part. So you first of all find the area of the bigger sector, right? Then you less this semicircle AED must then be lessed, right? If you less this semicircle, you also need to less this triangle AOD. So you will be left with the shaded part, right? So sector BOC is the 75,4 square centimeters that we have found in the previous or earlier part, right? Then area of a semicircle is half pi r squared. Since semicircle is half of a circle, area of a circle is pi r squared. So semicircle is half pi r squared. So I'm going to write half, right? But the same circle that we are talking about is AED. Remember, we had 6 covering the diameter of that same circle. So when it comes to radius, we are going to take 3. So from A to the center is 3. So on radius of this same circle, we are going to put 3. So pi here, then 3 squared as the radius. Right, then minus. Area of triangle is half AB sine theta. So we had 6 and 6. So this 6 is A, this 6 is B, and 60 degrees is the theta. So it's half 6, 6, then sine 60. Right, so 75,4 is representing the whole shape. Right, then we less the same circle AED, then we less the triangle AOD. So that will be left out with the shaded region. I hope you are listening, class. Right, so this can be punched like this. You say half is 1 divided by or 1 remainder 2. This is the half. Then you punch your pi, open bracket 3 close bracket squared equals, right? So you get 14,1. So I'm going to write 14,1 here. Then you less. Then you do the same. 1 remainder 2 open bracket 6 close bracket open bracket 6 sine 60. This is the area of the triangle, 15,6. So I'm going to write 15,6 there. So 75,4 minus 14,1 minus 15,6. It produces 45,7. So 45,7 square centimeters is your final answer. I hope you are listening. So I want you to stay tuned as we move on to the next question. Right, we are now moving on to question number 11. You are being given a graph with inequalities presented already on the graph, right? Remember, this unshaded region, we refer to it as R, right? So I'm going to start with the vertical lines and horizontal lines. So I'm going to start with this line. This is the left side of 0. So the left side of 0, it denotes -3, -2, and -1, right? So this vertical line is passing at -2, right? So the -2 is on the x-axis. So it means that the boundary line is x is equal to -2. I hope you are listening, right? But we then need to remove this equal sign and put an inequality sign which supports the position of R. I hope you are listening, right? So if you check, you can notice that R is on the right side. R is on the right side, right? So for a vertical line, the right side denotes the greater side. Whenever you see a vertical line, just know that the right side denotes the greater side. I hope you are listening, right? But our line is solid. For solid lines, we use greater than or equal to. So I'm going to write x is greater than or equal to -2. Right, then we move on to the next line. the next line is passing through y is equals to 2. So I'm going to write y is equals to 2 first. Right, but if you look at this line, it seems that it is a broken line. It is a broken line, right? And r is below. R is below, right? So if r is below means lesser. So we are using y is less than 2 as our answer. I hope you are listening, right? Then we are now moving on to the last two lines which are slant. Let me start with this one, which is passing at 3 and 3 on the x-axis, right? So for slant lines, we make use of y is equals to mx plus c. But c is very easy to identify. C represents the y-intercept, the value of y when x is 0, or the value of y at the point of intersection between the straight line and the y-axis. So if you check this line, it is cutting the y-axis at 3. It means that c is equals to 3. I hope you are listening, right? Then for you to find m is the gradient. y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. You first need to identify 2 points, any 2 points which are lying on that line. So this is the first point. This first point is 0, 3. And this is the second point, which is 3, 0. So you say x1, y1, x2, y2. Substituting into the formula, y2 is 0, minus y1 is 3, x2 is 3, minus x1 is 0. 0 minus 3, you get minus 3. 3 minus 0, you get 3. So minus 3 divided by 3, you get minus 1 as your gradient. So substituting minus 1 on m and 3 on c, you get y is equals to minus 1x plus c, which can be written as y is equals to minus x plus 3, since minus 1x and minus x are one and the same, right? So we are now left with the inequality. So we would like to remove this equal sign and substitute it with an inequality which supports the position of r, right? So if you look at this line, you can notice that r is on the below position or the lesser position, but the line is solid. So for solid line, we use less than or equal to. So I'm going to write y is less than or equal to minus x plus 3, which is the third inequality, right? We now move on to the last inequality. The last inequality is being calculated by the line passing through 1 on the y-axis and minus 2 on the x-axis. So since it is a slant line, we make use of y is equals to mx plus c as usual. C is the point of intersection between the y-axis and the straight line. So you can notice that the line is cutting y-axis at 1. So C is equals to 1. Right. Then for you to find m, you make use of the formula y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. Identify any 2 points which are lying on that line. So this is the first point, which is 0, 1. This is the second point, which is minus 2, 0. So this is x1, y1, x2, y2. Then you substitute into the formula. On y2 you put 0, minus y1 is 1. Then x2 is minus 2, minus x1 is 0. So 0 minus 1 you get minus 1, minus 2 minus 0 you get minus 2, minus 1 divided by minus 2 you get half. Right, substitute this on m. You get y is equals to half x. But c is 1, so I'm going to add 1. I hope you are listening, right? So the last thing to do is to remove the equal sign and replace it with an inequality sign which supports the region of r. So if we look at this line, you can notice that r is above that line. Above means greater. And since your line is a solid line, you are using greater than or equal to. So y is greater than or equal to half x plus 1 as your last inequality to make them 4. So the first inequality that we have got is x is greater than or equal to minus 2. Then inequality number 2 was y less than 2. Inequality number 3 was y less than or equal to minus x plus 3. Then the last inequality was y greater than or equal to half x plus 1. Then you are home and dry. I hope you are enjoying the lesson, class. Let us proceed to the next question. Right, we are now moving on to part B. A bag of sweets contains X orange sweets and Y lemon sweets. Right. Each orange sweet costs 2 cents and each lemon sweet costs 3 cents. Right. The cost of a bag of sweets is less than 24 cents. So I would like to show inequality number 1. Simple and straightforward. Remember, orange sweet is being denoted by X. Then lemon sweet is being denoted by Y. Right. So each orange sweet is 2 cents. It means that you are going to multiply 2 times X. You get 2X. Then you add. Each lemon sweet is costing 3 cents. So you have to multiply 3 times Y. You get 3Y. Right. But the cost is less than 24. So you have to less it with 24. So this is how this inequality was produced. Right. Write down the other 2 inequalities. Right. There are at least, whenever you see this statement at least, it means use greater than or equal to sign. There are at least 9 sweets in each bag. Right. But the 9 sweets, right, were not specific as to the flavor, whether it is orange or lemon. They just said at least 9 sweets without mentioning the color of the sweets. Right. So for such, you have to use X plus Y. Why? Because the color was not mentioned. Right. So it means that it is a total of orange sweets and lemon sweets. Right. But at least it means greater than or equal to. Then you put 9. So this is the first answer. Right, then we move on to the third statement. There are at least 2 lemon sweets in each bag. Right. Lemon is being represented by letter Y. So you write Y first. At least means greater than or equal to. Then you write 2. You get yourself 2 marks for that. So this is how you are supposed to formulate your inequalities. Right. On the grid, by shading unwanted regions, show the region which satisfies the 3 inequalities. Right. So I'm going to start with the given inequality, which was 2x plus 3y is less than 24. Right. So you write 2x plus 3y is equals to 24. Right. Then you make use of what you call table of values, since the line is containing both x and y. So you prepare what you call a table of values for you to plot that line. Right. So on the top of the table of values, you take the first 3 numbers on the x-axis. So the first 3 numbers are 0, 1, and 2. So you have to put 0, 1, and 2 here. Right. Then you put another 0, which is aligned to y. I hope you are listening. Right. So I want to find the value of y when x is 0. So you have to put 0 on x. You get 2 open bracket 0 on x plus 3y is equals to 24. 2 times 0, you get 0. So this is 3y is equals to 24. Then you divide both sides by 3. So 3 into 24, you get 8. So I'm going to write 8 representing the value of y. Right. Then I now want to find the value of x when y is 0. So it's 2x plus 3. You put 0 on y is equals to 24. 2x is equals to 24. Since 3 times 0, you get 0. Divide both sides by 2. X is equals to 12. I hope you are listening. Then you put 12 on x. Right. So the first point is 0, 8. And the second point is 12, 0. I hope you are listening. So 0, 8 is being denoted by this point. Then we have 12, 0. This is 12, 0. So I now want to connect the two. So the reason of using a broken line is the inequality does not have an or equal to sign, right? So if the inequality is less or if the inequality is greater without or equal to sign, use a broken line. But for less than or equal to and greater than or equal to, use a solid line. So that's why I've used a broken line, right? But when shading, you have to shade the opposite meaning of the inequality. Meaning to say, if the inequality says lesser, you shade the greater side. Like in this case, the inequality is supporting the lesser. So you don't have to shade the lesser, but you shade the greater, which is the opposite of lesser, above the line. One down. Then we move on to the next inequality. X plus y is greater than or equal to 9. So you write x plus y is equals to 9. Then you prepare a table of values. Put 4 columns in front. Take the first 3 numbers on the x-axis. Would like to find the value of y when x is 0. So putting 0 on x, you get 0 plus y is equals to 9. 0 plus y, you get y is equals to 9. So this is 9, right? Then we would like to find the value of x when y is 0. So it's x plus 0 is equals to 9, which gives you 9. So we have 0, 9 and 9, 0. So 1 and 2 are only used if the first column and the last column repeat the same point, or if you find points which are not part of the given scale. But we don't have to we don't have to use 1 and 2 since 0 and 9 and 9 and 0 are different, right? So 0, 9, this is 0, 9. Then this is 9, 0. But since the inequality is greater than or equal to, it means I need a solid line. So I'm going to connect using a solid line, like this, right? So remember, you shade the opposite meaning of the inequality. The inequality is supporting greater or equal to. So you have to shade on the lesser side. So this is the lesser side. Then you are home and dry, right? Then you move on to the last inequality. Y is greater than or equal to 2. You use y is equals to 2, right? So the value of y on the x-axis here, since there is an or equal to, we need a solid line. So this is the line y is equals to 2. Right, greater, it means you shade the lesser, which is the opposite of greater. So the lesser side of this line is the region below. Then you are home and dry. So this is the other region, right, with 3 corners. This is the first corner, this is the second corner, and this is the third corner. Then you get yourself 4 marks for that. I hope you are listening, class. Right. We move on to the last part of the question. Find the lowest cost of a bag of sweets. Right. So remember, 1 orange sweet was costing 2 cents. 1 lemon sweet was costing 3 cents. So we have to produce the expression of the cost, which is 2x plus 3y. Remember, we had x orange, y lemon. So x times 2 cents, you get 2x. Y times 3 cents, you get 3y. So each and every corner or each and every vertex of region R must be substituted into this expression of cost. Remember, if you look at region R, this is a triangle with 3 corners or 3 vertices. Each and every vertex must produce a point, right? So I'm going to start with this top vertex. It is aligned with the value of x, which is 3, and the value of y, which is 6. I hope you are listening, right? Then this is aligned to the value of x, which is 7, and the value of y, which is 2. Then this is aligned to the value of y, which is 9, and the value the value of x, which is 9, and the value of x, which is 2. Right, so each and every bracket must produce a figure. Then, of the 3 figures that are going to come out, we are going to take the lowest as our final answer. So 3 denotes x and 6 denotes y. So on x here, I'm going to put 3 plus 3. Then on y, I'm going to put 6. 2 times 3, you get 6. 3 times 6, you get 18. 6 plus 18, you get 24. Then you do the same for 7 and 2. This is x and this is y. Put 7 on x, right? Put 2 on y. 2 times 7, you get 14. 3 times 2, you get 6. So this is 20. Then we move on to the last bracket. 9 is x, 2 is y. Put 9 on x. Put 2 on y. 2 times 9, you get 18. 3 times 2, you get 6. This is 24. Right. So what is the lowest of the 3 figures? The lowest of the 3 figures is 20. So your lowest cost is 20 cents. Right. Write down the value of x and the value of y that give this cost. Right. So 20 was produced when x was 7 and y was 2. So on x you write 7, then on y you write 2. Then you are home and try. So this is how you calculate the lowest cost. I hope you are enjoying class. Right. So I want you to stay tuned as we move on to the next question. Right, we are moving on to the next question. Being given a quadratic graph, 2x minus 3 times x plus 2. Right, complete the table of values. So simple and straightforward. We want to find the value of y, right? Right, so you have to substitute minus 1 on each and every x letter in the given graph. So we are going to put 2 open bracket minus 1 minus 3 close bracket, then minus 1 plus 2 like this. So I have placed the minus 1 on x and minus 1 on x. Right. So 2 times minus 1, you get minus 2. Right. Minus 1 plus 2 like this. So minus 2 minus 3, it gives you minus 5. Right. Then minus 1 plus 2, you get 1. Right. So brackets means multiplication. So it's minus 5 times 1. Minus 5 times 1, you get minus 5. Right. And this process can be cut short using your calculator. Right. When using your calculator, the first thing you punch open bracket like this. This is open bracket. Then you punch 2. You punch open bracket, right? Then on x you use plus or minus. Then you put 1. So this is plus or minus 1. Then you close your bracket like this. I hope you are listening. Then you put negative sign. You punch 3. Then you close your bracket. So we are done with the first bracket. Then you put open bracket. Then x plus 2. You first of all punch plus or minus. Then you punch 1 like this. Then you punch plus 2. Then you close your bracket. You put your equal sign. Then you get your negative 5. So this is another way of doing it. Right. Then you move on to the next one. I would like to put 0 on x. Right? So if we put 0 on 2x, you get 0. So this first bracket becomes 0 minus 3. Putting 0 on x, you get 0. Getting 0 plus 2. So it's minus 3 in the first bracket and 2 in the second bracket. And minus 3 times 2, you get negative 6. I hope you are listening. So that was the first thing to do. Substituting the x values on x for you to find the y values. Right, on the x's below, plot the points from the table and join them with a smooth curve. So I'm going to start with minus 3 and 9. So this is minus 3 for x and 9 for y. 9 is between 8 and 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we need 2.5 boxes. 1, 2.5 boxes. So this is the point that I'm looking for. Right. Then we move on to the next. minus 2 and 0. So this is minus 2 and 0. Right? Then minus 1 and minus 5. So we have minus 1 for x and minus 5, which is between minus 4 and minus 6. 2.5 boxes. So we are looking at this point. Right? Then we move on to 0 and minus 6. This is 0 and this is minus 6 here. Then we move on to 1 and minus 3. So this is 1. Minus 3 is between minus 2 and 4. Since we have got 5 boxes in between, we need 2.5 boxes. 1, 2.5 box like this. So this is 1 and minus 3. Then we move on to 2 and 4. This is 2 and this is 4 here. Then from 2 and 4 we move on to 3 and 15. This is 3. 15 is between 14 and 15, which are 2.5 boxes. 1, 2.5 like this. So I'm now connecting the points. I hope you are listening. Right. So if you connect the points, you come out with a parabola or a quadratic graph, which comes something like this. I hope you are listening. Right. So we are now moving on to the next question. It reads, use your graph to solve the equation 2x minus 3x plus 2 is equals to 2. Right. So what you need to do, you have to check if the original graph is similar with this side. Right. Then if it is similar, it means that you have to use the line y is equals to 2 for you to find the point of intersection between y is equals to 2 and your graph. I hope you are listening. Right. So if we go back to the graph that we have drawn, you can notice that this graph and the left side of the equation, 2x minus 3, x plus 2 is equals to 2. This left side and this graph are similar to each other. So it means that you just need to draw y is equals to 2, where 2 is the number on the right side. Right, so y is equals to 2. You go here on the y-axis. This is 2, right? Then you draw a straight line denoting y is equals to 2. Right. So your solutions are going to come at the point of intersection between y is equals to 2 and the parabola. Right. So how many boxes do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got 8 boxes. It means that the first solution is x is equals to 1, 8. Since we have got 8 boxes in front of 1. Then we're now counting the left side. 1, 2, 3. So it means the next solution is minus 2, 3, since we've got 3 boxes on the left side of minus 2. Right, so the first answer is 1, 8, and the second answer is minus 2, 3. I hope you are listening. So I'm going to write 1, 8 as the first answer, or minus 2, 3 as the second answer. Right, then we move on to part 2. Right, find the minimum value of y. Right, so minimum value is found at the bottom. You draw a horizontal line at the bottom of your parabola. So this is your parabola, right? So you have to draw a horizontal line. So the value of y, which is going to be cut by this horizontal line, is the minimum value. So it is clearly that the line is passing through minus 6. So it means that your minimum value is minus 6. Right, so I'm going to write minus 6. I hope you are listening. Right, then find the gradient of the curve at 2, 4. Right, first of all, identify the point 2, 4 on the graph. Right, first of all, identify the point 2, 4 on the graph. So this is 2 and this is 4. This is the point under consideration. So you have to draw a tangent which touches this point 2, 4 like this. You draw your tangent like this. I hope you are listening. Right, then identify any 2 points which are lying on this tangent that you have drawn. So the first point that we have is 2 and 4, right? Then which next point can someone use, right? So you can count here up to this point of intersection on the x-axis. How many boxes do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 boxes. So it means that this is 1,6, right? So we have another point which is 1,6 for x and 0 for y. So 1,6 for x and 0 for y and 2 and 4 are the points which are lying on the line under consideration. Right. So remember, gradient is m y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Right. So 2 and 4, then 1,6 and 0. 2 is x1, 4 is y1, 1,6 is x2, then 0 is y2. So on y2 I'm going to put 0, you get 0, minus y1 which is 4. On x I'm going to put 1,6, then on x1 you get 2. 0 minus 4 you get minus 4, 1,2, 1,6 minus 2 you get negative 0,4. I hope you are listening. Right, so the negative signs, they cancel out each other. Right, so 4 divided by 0,4, if you multiply by 10 you get 40. Then if you multiply by 10 you get 4. So 4 into 40, your answer is 10. So 10 is the gradient. I hope you are listening. Right, so I'm going to write 10 here as my final answer. But in the marking scheme, there will be an allowance of plus or minus 0,2 or plus or minus 2, which means 11 can be accepted, 9 can be accepted, 12 can be accepted, depending on the points that you have used. Right, so there is a range that is given in the marking scheme. Right, we move on to part D1. Show that the coordinates of the points where y 2x minus 3, x plus 2, and y is equals to 1 minus 2x would intersect. Right, the solutions of the equations. 2x squared plus 3x minus 7 is equals to 0. So it's simple and straightforward. You have to equate. This graph and this line first. So after equating the graph and the line, you expand the left side. So 2x, the first number in the first bracket, multiplies the second bracket. Minus 3 multiplies the second bracket. Then here is 1 minus 2x. So removing the bracket, you get 2x squared plus 4x minus 3x, then minus and plus, you get negative. 3 times 2, you get 6. It's equals to 1 minus 2x. Right. So this is 2x squared. 4x minus 3x, you get x. Minus 6 is equals to 1 minus 2x. Right. So to show the equation, you need to be left with a 0 on the right side. So you are going to move 1 and minus 2 to your left side, collecting like terms. Right. So 2x squared is going to remain the same, plus x, then minus 2 become plus, minus 2x become plus 2x, then you have minus 6, then this is minus 1. So you get 2x squared plus 3x, then minus 6 minus 1, you get minus 7 is equal to 0. You have shown. Get yourself your marks. Right. Solve algebraically the equation 2x squared plus 3x minus 7 is equals to 0. So a is equals to 2. A is the value or the coefficient of x squared. B is equals to 3, which is the coefficient of x. C is equals to minus 7, which is the constant term. The equation or the quadratic equation formula states that minus b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over to 2a. Then you get yourself a single mark for that formula. Substitute the numbers in the letters. So you get minus, open bracket, put 3 on b, plus or minus square root, open bracket 3 squared minus 4. A is 2, then C is minus 7. All over to 2, A is 2. Right, x is equals to minus 3, plus or minus, you put your square root, 2 times 2, you get 4. Then I'm going to punch in my calculator the inner numbers in the bracket. 3 squared minus 4, open bracket, 2 close bracket, open bracket, plus or minus 7, close bracket, equals, you get 65. So I'm going to write 65 here. Right, so it means that we are going to get two distinct roots or two different solutions due to the plus or minus effect. So I'm going to split this into 2, minus 3 minus square root of 65 over 4. Then you put brackets on the terms above so that you can punch them in brackets for you to get the correct answer. So how do you punch this? Put your calculator on like this, then open bracket first. To punch minus 3, use plus or minus, then you punch 3 like this. Then plus square root like this. Then you put 65, close bracket. So this is the first thing to do. Make sure minus 3 and root 65 are inside the bracket. Then you divide by 4 like this, equals, you get 1,265. But what is the requirement of the question? Give your answer to 2 decimal places. So 2 is the first decimal place, 6 is the second decimal place, but 5 can round 6 to 7, giving you 1,27. So 1,27 is the first solution, right? So we would like to do the same thing on the other side. First, put open bracket like this. Then punch plus or minus, put 3. Then you punch negative, square root, 65, close bracket, divide by 4. You get minus 2,765, which is minus 2,77. So you write minus 2,77. You get yourself 4 marks. I hope you are listening, class. So I want you to stay tuned as we move on to the last question of today's lesson. Right, welcome to the last question of today's lesson. Right, we are given triangle ABCD, right? With ABD, another triangle, and ADC, another triangle. Calculate AB, right? So to calculate AB, we are using this triangle, ABD. But since 37 and 30, they complete a set, making it possible to use sine rule, right? So AB, this side, is going to be divided by sine 58. Is equals to the complete set, you put 30 on top to be divided by sine 37, right? So of the 3 marks, you get yourself some marks or even 2 marks or a mark for that. Then to make A be the subject, you cross multiply. So AB is equals to 30 sine 58 over sine 37. Then you punch this in your calculator. Right, 30 sine like this, 58 like this, divided by sine 37 equals, you get 42,2. So your answer is 42,27, making it 42,3. Right, to 3 significant figures, 1, 2, 3. 7 is greater than 5, rounding 2 to become 3. Right, then we move on to the next. Find AC. Right, For AC, we are using the triangle on the right side, but the first thing to do is to calculate the angle at D using the concept that sum of angles on a given straight line add up to 180. Right? So 180 minus 58, you get 122. There is 122 degrees at D. Right? So having two sides and an angle in between, you make use of cosine rule of square root. So you write AC is equals, you put root sign, 30 squared plus 64 squared minus 2, 30, 64, then you write cos 122. Right. Then after that, you punch the inner terms in the square root. So this is 30 squared first plus 64 squared secondly, then negative 2 open bracket 30 close bracket open bracket, right, 64 close bracket like this. Then cos 122, cos 122 equals, you get 70 30, comma, 889975. Right, you write the number inside the square root. So whilst the number is appearing on your screen, you then need to press the root sign, then you press the equal sign, then you get your answer. Your answer is 83,9. Since if you count to 3 significant figures, it's 1, 2, 3, but 5 can cause 8 to be 9. Then you are home and dry. So we have 83,9 here. Then we calculated AB as 42,3. So I'm just writing my answers on the diagram, since the questions are fictitious. Right. We are now moving on to part C of the question. Calculate the area of triangle ADC. Right. So ADC, to calculate the area, you make use of half AB sine theta. This is the formula of area of triangle. So where is ADC? Where is ADC? Right. So this is A, this is D, this is C. Right. So 30 is going to be used as A, 64 is going to be used as B, and 122 as theta. I hope you are listening. So I'm going to put 30 on A, so it's half, 30 on A, 64 on B, then sine 122. Then you punch. How do you punch in your calculator? That's why I'm showing you the calculator. You need to know how to use it. Right. So punch 1 first, then you punch A, B, C. You produce something like an R. Then you punch 2, put open bracket 30, close bracket, open bracket. Then you put 64, close bracket, sine 122 equals, right, like this, sine 122, you get 814,1. But to 3 significant figures, it gives you 814, since 1 is smaller than 5. So I'm going to write 814 as my answer. I hope you are enjoying the lesson, class. Right, then we move on to part D. A vertical tower stands at A. P is the point on the line BC. Right? But a vertical tower stands at A. What does this mean? Draw the vertical tower first at A. So let us go back and draw the vertical tower at A. Right, so this is the point A. You have to draw the vertical tower first. Draw it. Let it be drawn on the right. So this vertical line is representing the tower, which is being mentioned in the question, which is above point A. This is point A, right? Let us go back to the question. Simple. Take it easy, right? P is the point on the line BC, right? P is the point on the line BC, such that the angle of depression, right, from the top of the tower to the line BC is greatest. I hope you are listening. Right. So you are going to put P there on the line BC. Where is BC? BC is starting from this point to this point. I hope you are listening. Right? So P is going to be positioned on this line BC, but where exactly? The question is saying where the angle of depression is the greatest. Right? So for it, the angle of depression to be greatest, it means that P must be aligned with the shortest distance, right, from A to the line BC. Right? So from the line A up to BC, this is where P lies, so that the angle of depression become greatest. I hope you are listening. Right. Then we proceed. Right. What is the next thing now? Given that this angle of depression is 34, calculate the height of the tower. Simple. Right. So you have to connect the tower, right, and P. You connect the tower and P like this. Right. So let me reflect the triangle so that it becomes easy for you to see. So this is P, this is A, and this is the tower. So this triangle that I have written here is this triangle, which is, this is the top of the tower, this is the hypotenuse, then from this A there is a 90-degree angle there, right? So this line from here to P is this line that I have written. I have reflected the triangle like this so that it becomes easy for you to see, right? So they are saying that the angle of depression, right, of P from the tower is 34. So we have 34 degrees here. This is 34, right? But remember, we would like to calculate, right, the height of the tower. So let the height of the tower be represented by what? Be represented by X. I hope you are listening. Right. So what is the first thing to do? The first thing to do is to calculate the length of AP. Right. So the length of AP is good as the shortest distance from A to BD. So I'm going to calculate AP first. So you put X here, and this is 90 degrees. 42,3 and 90 degrees, they complete a set. So you write X over sine 37. X is opposite to 37, so you write X over sine 37 is equals to 42,3, this line, opposite to 90. So you write sine 90, right? Then it means X is equals to 42,3 sine 37 divided by sine 90. Right, so 42,3 sine 37 divided by sine 90, you get 25,5. Right, so 25,5 is the shortest distance from A to P, which is good as the distance from P to A. So this is 25,5. Right, so I now need to identify the height of this tower. Right, so this is the angle of depression. The angle of depression and this angle of elevation below, they complete what you call Z angles. So I'm going to put 34 here, right? So once I put 34 on that side, it becomes easy for you to then calculate X. X represents the opposite to 34, and 25,5 is the adjacent. So if you make use of the troubleshooter, SOHCAHTOA, you can notice that O and A are located at tan. So you write the formula of tan theta is equals to opposite over adjacent. Then on theta you put 34, it's tan 34 is equals to opposite, which is X, adjacent, which is 25,5. Then you cross multiply. So 25,5 tan 34 is equals to X. Then you punch in your calculator. So 25,5 tan 34, you get 17,2. So 17,2 is the height of the tower. Then you are warm and dry. So this is how you are supposed to do the calculations. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. Till we meet again tomorrow, shalom.